Welcome to episode 2 of Room. Welcome to episode 2 of Room 2740, a behind the scenes vlog where I talk to you about building our business Q Squared Limited, and also I give you an insight into the kind of work that I do on a day-to-day or weekly business, not only for my main business, but for some of the businesses I advise and invest in as well. So I want to talk to you about the business model that supports the framework of our main company, Q Squared. And Q Squared has a number of brands, and I'll come back to that in another time, but let me just talk to you about the main model. And before I do that, let me give you the background. So my background as an accountant, for those of you who don't know, I'm not a trained accountant, but I did financial management accounting for about 8 years, went as far as I did, and I just didn't want to do it anymore. And then I went into IT. I did a lot of stuff around database design, advanced Excel spreadsheets, and how I can talk with them. And then I moved into project management. And both of those careers gave me a hell of a lot of commercial experience as to around what it is that I do. And if I'm really honest, I should have been running, I should have been. We can't talk about should haves and could haves. They don't make any difference. But I was slightly later coming to doing this full time and like throwing all my energy into it, because I split my time between doing this, and I did a lot of speaking and presentations in schools, colleges, and universities for teachers and students for many years. But then about 4 or 5 years ago, I really just said, you know what, I really just need to draw a line in the sand. I have to do less of this, and I'm going to go and really throw my heart into doing a lot of stuff around leadership and personal development. And so here we are. And Q Squared is the iteration of part of that journey. It's the last element of that actual journey between myself and my wife. But what I want to do today, and I'll break it down even more in further episodes, is talk to you about the business model that underpins the main company. So I'm going to talk about my bit first, and actually I'll talk about both of ours, and then we'll put that in together. So here are the 4 main income streams, or the 4 main parts that make up our business model here at Q Squared as a professional services company. The first one's coaching. That's kind of like our primary main thing that people probably know us for, and what we've been doing quite a lot. So our coaching is broken up into individual coaching, some one-to-one for potential and emerging leaders. We do group coaching, where we get a lot of people into a room together and take them on, well, I say a room, but as part of a cohort, and we take them on a specific journey over a number of months. And then we have executive coaching, which is specifically targeted at the C-suite. So those who are executive directors of a specific organization, be it medium-sized all the way up to corporate. And be able to do that, our pricing structure varies as well. So we start primarily at about $3,000, but it can go all the way up to executive coaching at $15,000 a pop. And for the larger group coaching programs, it can go 60, 80, and into 6 figures, depending on the necessity of the actual clients we have in front of us. But the coaching, and I want people to understand this, is a lot of people get really hung up on the pricing of coaching. And even though I've gone, look, my coaching starts at £500 an hour, so that's the $3,000 packet. And then we can go all the way up, as I said, to $15,000 when I'm working with real senior leaders, CTOs, CIOs, CEOs, CFOs, whatever the CXO you actually got in there, and where we go really granular, really deep, and that's where my strategic commercial expertise comes through. But that's the kind of model. So anywhere from $3,000 all the way up to 6 figures if we're working with group coaching programs for large multinational companies as well as medium-sized companies. We tend not to do small anymore. We're moving away from doing small, not because we can't, or not because we don't like small companies. And when I say small companies, that's anybody up to 25 million a year. But what we're trying to do now is move away from doing the smaller ones and being able to recognize that we don't have the capacity for that unless it's in a kind of advisory role, and making sure that, with few exceptions, making sure that we do the majority of our work with larger organizations with a bigger impact. So that's coaching. That's the first one. The second one I want to speak about is facilitation. So this is where either myself or Madeline or some of the other individuals who we may find to work with us, depending on the project, we will go in and we will do things like run training sessions. So sometimes a client may come to us and go, look, we need to do something around culture, we need to do something around confidence, we need to do something around leadership development, or we need to get our leaders to be able to speak and present better. Can you come in and run a series of courses to us, back-to-back courses? Can you do this for us? Now, that facilitation is specifically for training, or we can do hosting, and we can facilitate conferences, away days, we could do company retreats. We do that. It's a combination of the facilitation there. Now, again, in that model, we're trying to change from them because we found that it's just not worth our while just to do 1 or 2 days, and we're doing packages now. So we're saying to individuals, by 5, 6, 7 worth of days worth of training, and what we can do is we can come in and we can deliver that amount of training for you with the specific outcomes you have as a business, and we can take that to the next level. So that facilitation part there, again, it can range from anything from, again, even though we don't necessarily like doing it in terms of a day rate, it can, depending on what we're doing, it can go from anywhere from £3,000 to £4,000 to £5,000 a day, depending on the amount of detail and research and background and everything that we need to do. And then what we do, rather than go, oh, we're only going to do it as a day, we roll it all up as a project, which includes the design, the definition of what people want, the design of what our clients want, the delivery that they need as a result, and then at the end of the day, making sure there's a debrief. So we look at all the stuff that comes in and then measure up the data and give little reports where necessary. The third one is around speaking. And this is where we will be called upon in terms of our expertise. So instead of having the deep dives as we have with our coaching and facilitation, where individuals will call on us to go, right, we need you for a longer piece of time to be able to work through this, we do speaking. And that speaking can be delivered as keynotes. And those keynotes allow us to go, we speak at conferences, we speak for company retreats, we speak for boards, we speak for associations, we speak at networks. And again, for both of us, we start, I think Madeline starts at about £3,000 per keynote. I start at £4,000, and what we do is, and my price is going up next year exponentially because I've realized I want to do less of it, less speaking, but I want to do it a hell of a lot more intensive. So my price is going up, and to let people know, my mentors have been telling me that as an international speaker, I've been charging too cheap for years. And at the end of the day, yes, I may miss out on a lot of people, but I need to go for where my clients are. So my speaking is more premium priced, and especially when my book comes out, it's another story for another thread. When my book comes out, I know my speaking price is actually going to go up. So the speaking for us is the third pillar of our business model. The fourth one is advisory. So I'm really fortunate in that I sit on the board of 3 companies at the moment, officially. There's a fourth one, but I'm not necessarily sure where they're going. And these tend to be smaller than the corporates. These tend to be more small to medium-sized businesses, where I will sit on that board, and what I will do is I will give strategic advice around financial planning or around leadership in that specific role. And the advisory income that we will get will be done on a retainer, where we will come in, we will give a certain amount of advice, and we'll say, right, this is exactly where you want it to go. This is not, the reason why I put this as fourth as well, this is not necessarily a money maker per se. It's a source of income, it's a stream of income, but it is primarily where we will go in and offer our expertise to specific projects that we favor and that we like the leaders and we like the way that they are going, and being able to be a part of that board and being able to shape that is absolutely fine. We also do some work for non-profits as well, and I think we're just really trying to figure out what that balance is of being able to offer that expertise. So those are the 4 main routes that we have. It's coaching, it's facilitation, it's speaking, it's advisory, and those are our main models of income. And we say this to all professional services, whether you are a coach, a consultant, solicitor, an accountant, any one of the architects, any one of those professional services. This is what we found. There is that specific area of expertise. What is it that you do, but what are the other income bits that you can add to it as well? And the 5th one that we are working on developing as a core form of income, but we are building that up as we build out the company, is around products. Because what we've realized is that, yes, you can exchange your time for money, and whether you want to price that per hour or by value, you're still exchanging your time for money. But what we've realized is a lot of stuff that we get asked consistently about how do we productize it, or how do we create courses and programs that doesn't really even need our involvement, but can become an income stream for the actual organization. And so that's it, episode 2. I get a bit of an insight into the business model that we have, and I hope that has been helpful to somebody. Please, if you do like it, please subscribe, share it with someone else, and look forward to tuning in to the next episode of Room 2740. Thank you and goodbye. Peace.